So let's talk about these game threes and how these series are shaping up. Yesterday, we saw the first round get more interesting as some of the games actually swayed the other way. As you guys know, we had a lot of 2-0s in these matchups, and especially when it came to the Eastern Conference, there was a lot of, not evenness through these matchups. And yesterday, we saw basically equalizers and great games, which uh, shifted the pace of some of these series. First, we saw Orlando get their first game back. They went back home, and their stars played great, especially Jalen Suggs and Paulo Banchero. Paulo had finally, his game where he was able to actually impact the game to a greater level. He had 31 points and 14 rebounds with 5 assists. And this match for Orlando was amazing, as even though in the first quarter they were pretty tied, as the game kept going, they just kept, winning and winning and winning, and they didn't really lose a quarter in this matchup, especially when it got to that third quarter where they just absolutely smoked Cleveland. Honestly, this was the game that the Magic needed, as they beat Cleveland by about 40 points or 38 points. And it was basically a sign of, hey, we're here to play, we're here to stay, and we don't want to lose this series, we don't want to get swept. For the Cavs, their biggest problem was the fact that Donovan Mitchell didn't play that well. I feel like this was more because of the defense in the Magic side, just realizing that if Donovan Mitchell has a great game, then the Cavs are going to win. If he doesn't, then they're going to lose. And that is the biggest proponent of that. Darius Garland has been pretty trash this season, and especially in the playoffs, he's a notorious choker. And the big men are not good enough to carry this team single handedly. So when it comes to the Cavs, I think that they figured something out. The fact that they only put up 83 points this game is absolutely crazy. And with all of that being said, they should have at least, strive to do something better, because when it comes to the Magic and when it comes to the Cavaliers, this series was not even close and it didn't even look like the Magic were going to be even close to winning a game until this matchup yesterday. Now, what I do want to say is that this is more has to do with their coach, you know. The coach, obviously, of the Magic, which is Dwayne Casey, obviously realized that there was a problem with their defense and with the way that they were playing. And honestly, wait, not Dwayne Casey. It's not. I mean Jamal Mosley. I'm sorry. It's not. Dwayne Casey was the previous Pistons coach. Jamal Mosley, which I think he realized that their best attribute is their defense, and if they're not going to use their defense to force heavy switches and allow the game to be more spread out for their stars, meanwhile guarding tighter windows for Donovan Mitchell and the other guards, then they will not win. So those coaching changes were honestly everything. And by the way, the reason why I talk so much about coaching during these playoff videos is because coaching is the most important part of the playoffs. In the regular season, talent wins. That's why you'll see a lot of teams with a superstar win 40, 50 games and comfortably get into the playoffs. Meanwhile, you'll see teams, those same teams in the postseason, just completely fail to even make it out of the first or second round. The reason why is because coaching in the playoffs is what shines. That's why the Heat are so good, and that's why teams like Denver and like Minnesota get to have these great playoff runs. It's because of coaching, and it's because of the way that coaching impacts the game when you get to a playoff setting. Moving on to the next matchup, we have Philadelphia versus New York. This was finally Embiid's game where, he seemed better. Obviously, his knee was tweaked and he just had to play through the game that way. But he dropped 50 points, 4 assists, and 8 rebounds just to completely smoke the Knicks. Also, before this game, there was the award ceremony for Most Improved Player. And honestly, even though, yes, I will say that Embiid this game should have probably had some more, consequences, because he was getting physical and chirpy and he did commit a lot of fouls this game. Let's just be honest. he didn't, and he scored 50 points. Even though 21 of those were free throws, he did still score 29. And they beat the Knicks by 11, even with a lot of the guys from the Sixers not having that great of games. And I believe that this was just a statement game by Embiid in Philadelphia to basically tell the Knicks, like, hey, we're in it to win it. We're going to try to beat you guys. And honestly, let's face it, Philly still have a big chance, and especially going back to New York, if they can get one game in New York, it could shift the entire tide of the series. I believe that Embiid played great. Apart from this, Maxey scored 25, which he's been great in this playoff run. And even though Jalen Brunson had 39 points and 13 assists, having a phenomenal game, there is something to be said about the way that Joel Embiid was playing, where he just outdueled the star. Now, the biggest read in this game was the fact that New York played it smaller. You could see that for most of the game, even though I think it was because Mitchell Robinson got injured, right, with that nasty fall that he had on Embiid, when they had to play Hardenstein at the 5 and they had to play OG Anunoby at the 4, it caused a huge mismatch for them as they could not operate in the way that they wanted to operate. That basically let Joel Embiid be guarded by a much slower center, as Mitchell Robinson, he is great at slaying giants. And these matchup changes, even though Brunson did have a great game, and in any other game he would have probably won, it did allow them to open up their offense more and to be able to have more effective offensive transitions. Also, Embiid got that really clutch dunk. Well, no, it was Batum who got that clutch dunk in the fourth quarter to really seal the game for the Philadelphia. Then, finally, we have the Lakers and Nuggets game, and I think the Lakers are getting swept. I heard a joke of it's like, oh, LeBron let himself lose 3 games so he could come back. But LeBron came out swinging in the first quarter, and I'm saying this right now. If the Lakers lose this series, which they will, in my opinion, because I don't think it's ever going to happen that a team comes back from 3-0, especially this Lakers team with Darvin Ham as their coach. I don't think that you can put any of the blame on the superstars of the team. AD dropped 33, 15 rebounds, and 3 assists. Meanwhile, LeBron dropped 26 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds, and they both played 42, 43 minutes. Jesus Christ, they've been playing amazingly. And they've been getting absolutely killed, right, by the fact that Darvin Ham is not a good coach. Look, and I really want to say this because I get really heated about this. In the playoffs, your record doesn't matter. The stars that you have around you doesn't matter. What matters is who's drawing up that play. That's why every single team that wins has a good coach or a player who can act as the coach. And I'm sorry, but Darvin Ham sucks at coaching. He sucks. He doesn't know how to draw plays. He relies on LeBron too much. And as much as I don't want to say that because it is something that, it's like you have to have respect for the coaches. And I deeply respect Darvin Ham because even though he's a first-year coach, a lot of the reason why we say that he sucks is because his team consistently goes out there and disrespects him, and because he's been tasked to coach the team with a lot of expectation. I think in any other team he would probably do much better than the Lakers. But this team, he hasn't gained anything. He hasn't gained respect from his players. He hasn't gained the trust of anybody. D'Angelo Russell was on his phone during the huddle, and he is so much of a people pleaser because he doesn't want to get fired by anybody that he can't put his foot down and say, hey guys, you guys need to listen to me, respect me, and make this work because I'm here to make you guys better. And it's just not that way. Also, I do want to say that in Denver, And the guys are amazing, and they had all phenomenal games. And the reason why I say that is because Aaron Gordon had 29 points and 15 rebounds. Nikola Jokic had 20, had almost had a 24-point triple double with 15 assists, and Jamal Murray had 22 points and 9 assists with 5 rebounds. Meanwhile, MPJ had a double double with 20 points and 10 rebounds. The Nuggets are just insane. They look like they're about to repeat as champions, if we're being 1,000% honest.